It's Mr. Broviac. It's Mr.
Is
Broviac.
that a
He
yes or
likes
no?
throwing babies in pits.
Yeah, I love that theme song.
Sure.
amazing.
We can have you stand and work on it if you prefer to do
Can I
that.
go stand and work on it?
Yay.
Sure. Do you want to go stand and work on it too?
Yay, death to babies. They're
No.
demons.
Okay.
You want to go
My
stand?
eye.
I can't see.
Well, let's continue whatever's going on. Even I'm not sure sometimes. Listen, camp comes to turn stuff in. I'm in the process of making our groups because you have about 2 weeks till you find out who's in your group. Once again, no phones. We have a little thingy that's over there that is full of, like, I don't know, 25 phones. I know, I can't count. And then the third 9 weeks grades are set unless you turn things in today and your B points are posted. You can turn in your old hall passes, which those of you at home, I forgot to do this because I got distracted. So what I'm going to do now is you're going to just boringly listen to me hand out passes for a second. So you might want to fast forward until you see me pop up again in front of you, and then we can help you out from there. Those of you who are getting your passes, your old hall passes do still count. And so you are more than welcome to keep using them if you would like. Or you can cash them in for points if you would like. And we can also do that. Each blank line is 3 points. If you have an entire blank pass, it is 10 points. And the way you end up cashing it in is you just have to make sure your name is at the top, first and last name. And then give it to me at the end of class, putting it on the X, and then you should be good. Those of you who are absent, I'll give you yours later. Those of you who are missing work from me, that's why you're not getting one currently, because if you're currently missing work, we will trade you your hall pass for completed work once it is done. I will safely hold on to it until that time arrives. And then, this is the last one. Other passes can cash in, and we're going to go there. All right. Awful.
Okay, so, who created the art of
It's called American Gothic, and I'd have to Google his name. Whistler, maybe? I think Whistler's the girl in the rocking chair. So I'm not positive. Let's see. So maybe I have Cabins, Reynolds, Weber, and Cuss. Those go to there. So I don't remember off the top of my head. All right. Kemp, did you have a question also?
Yeah, I forget because I'm stupid. What's a harpy?
A harpy, a flying bird thing with the ugly woman.
Okay.
Okay. You actually have a device right in front of you that you could have used to Google such a thing and not have to write or stare at me. That's also an option. Then once again, third 9 weeks grades are set. B points are posted. You now have the 15 more B points. Those are the last 3 B points you'll ever get from me. Riley Dance Marathon tickets, you can still get those. I believe they are out of shirts. So if you are going, yay, you just might not get your shirt until after Wednesday. Those will be delivered sometime next week. And then our cell phone jail. What's up?
So, did you say that you would watch me like on Friday? So, like, have the money? So, like,
I didn't buy one for you, no.
I know, but I'm not that, but, like, do they know that I'm getting one?
No. You just have to walk over there and give them money. And you're still good to go. Because they're still selling them today, so there's no
okay.
worry. Yeah, they sell them all the way through Wednesdays. That's why I didn't have to do anything besides nod and go, okay. Which I did. Okay. Riley Dance Marathon and throwing game signs. All right. Now, back to our stories we get to pick up from before. We got to Cronus having to take care of his baby issue. What does he do to take care of the baby issue?
Eat them. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
How many does he eat?
7.
5. Until we get to the last
5
one.
and a rock.
There you go. I don't know if that counts as a half or not. I'm not
And
sure.
then he barfs all of them.
Rock is half a baby. So we got to the last one was Zeus. And who convinces her to switch out the baby for a rock?
Yeah.
That's where she comes in and says, switch it out. Cronus, of course, being a guy, pays no attention. Gobble, gobble, it's delicious. And things go well. Zeus grows up down on Mother Earth until he decides it's time to get his brothers and sisters back. When he does, he can't stab his father to release them for the whole worry about cutting brothers and sisters. So what does he use instead?
Barfy potion.
He uses a barf. I believe that is the scientific name, Barficus potionicus. And he uses the Barfy potion, and then goes up to Mount Olympus and gives it to Cronus, and that's when he throws up. Did we get to Cronus throwing up?
Yeah.
We got to the part where
Yes.
the riddle.
Okay, so we got to the riddle with you. So they're throwing up the blarky blarky, and then they come flying out, except for one of them is a rock. And then that's when they then turn into them, and they all do the attacking and the stabbing and the fighting, and things go well. Let's see, so we got to now it's Cronus versus his children versus Cronus and his children, and then it becomes the Titans versus the Olympians. Did we get to what Atlas does then?
Yeah.
And what job does Atlas take over?
General.
And he becomes the general because he's all big and strong, and all the other ones want to follow him.
We
I
got
talked
to the
about the posters over here.
Prometheus switching.
With the posters over here, I put them in an order to help you out. They're not random. It's to help you realize that Cronus, the one up here, is the one that eats his children, and then these are the 6 children he eats. There's actually a reason why they're in this order also, but we'll get to on that one. But these are the 6 kids: Hades, Poseidon, Zeus, Hera, Demeter, Hestia. But Mr. Broviak, he didn't eat Zeus. Good job, child. What did he eat instead?
A rock.
What's Zeus standing on?
A rock.
Oh my God. And so hopefully that tries to help you out. So you can look up there, see those, and the idea being it's supposed to make your life a little bit easier. Fingers crossed. Susan?
Who is the leader of the Titans?
Who's the leader of the Titans? Yes.
Okay, so what's Hestia the god of?
Have we talked about her yet?
No.
Problem
No.
solved. Next up. So now we have Atlas is the general of the army. And do we get to the gods switching sides?
Yeah.
Which god switches sides?
Prometheus
Prometheus.
and
Why does Prometheus switch sides?
Because he thinks the
because he knows
Olympians are gonna win.
There you go. Sees the future. Knows Zeus is going to win. Which god switches sides with him?
Prometheus.
Which god does not?
Atlas.
Why does Atlas not switch?
Because
There you go. And so that's where it comes down into the prophecy where we had Zeus go and try to figure out how to win, because even with Prometheus on his side, he still is not doing very well. So who does he go to talk to get advice? Nice one. His grandmammy, Mother Earth. But that's when she tells him that weird riddle about he who released the beast within shall turn the tides of war. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, old woman. Probably a similar conversation you've had with your grandparents. And that's when he goes back up to his cave and starts ranting and jumping around, stomping and kicking things. He's like, what is that old lady talking about? What does she mean? He who released the beast within. And that's when Prometheus steps up and goes, hey, I actually think I know what she's talking about. And Zeus goes, what do you mean you know what she's talking about? Prometheus goes, well, I've been friends with Cronus for a while, and he sort of let me in on some of the secrets that he knew. And one of them is that there is a pit deep down in Mother Earth called Tartarus. In this pit, there are a bunch of the elder gods that are trapped in there. And these elder gods are known for charging kids points, who swore they would stand and then ended up sitting down and then wonder where all their points went for all those choices they might. Silly children making me have to take a break in a moment to charge you. Into there, and then
back here, back.
Don't even start with that.
yeah. And he goes, I think that's what she's referring to, is these big elder gods who are trapped in the pit of Tartarus. And Zeus goes, wait a minute. Kronos knew they were down there? And he was like, yeah. He goes, why didn't he release them? Prometheus goes, well, he always said that they were kind of hard to look at. And Zeus goes, that's it? Done. I'm going to release them. So Zeus decides he will release the big elder gods, thus allowing him to win the war. So he finds the little special path. Special path. Goes running down the little path. Finds the big underground pit of Tartarus. Finds the big double doors. Knocks off the lock. Throws open the doors and walks in. He's like, my name is Zeus, and I am here to... And he looks over at the pit and goes... Okay. A little hard to look at, maybe an understatement. He's like, but all right, I can do this. He goes ahead and sucks it up. He walks around and goes, hey, big, ugly monster things. I would like to free you from where you've been trapped if you will agree to help me fight in this war against the guy who's kept you trapped down here. Do you agree? And the monsters go, blocka, 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 blocka. He's like, ooh, I'm not fluent in monsterese, but I believe that is a yes. But here's the issue I'm having. Looking at you, I want to die. Because you are just horrifying. So, they're like, blogga, blogga. He's like, I know. Blogga, blogga, back at you. But I'm still going to let you out. But can we come to an agreement that at the end of the war, you go to the edge of the world and hide behind a mountain. And that way, I never have to look at you. And then I don't have to worry about this throwing up thing. Can you agree to that? And the monsters go, blogga, blogga. He's like, blaga blaga back at you. And he comes to an agreement, and he throws down like a little rope, and he's like, I'll pull you up, and pulls all the 3 big monsters up. And then they get free. He then looks back down into the pit. He's like, wait, who are you down there? And there's 3 more creatures down there. And they are? The Cyclops. He's like, well, you guys aren't horrifyingly ugly. Why are you trapped down here? The Cyclops go, well, apparently we have a super ability that allows us to make the most powerful weapons ever known to exist and the best armor to ever be known. And Zeus goes, what now? They go, we make really powerful weapons that apparently can hurt gods. And Zeus is like, would you like to join my team? They're like, will you let us out? And he's like, yes. They go, all right. And he releases the Cyclops. And the Cyclops like, we're going to make you weapons. And he's like, thank you. And they do. The 3 Cyclops are so excited to be freed, they tell Zeus they are going to make him and his 2 brothers the most powerful weapons ever known to exist. Being as that Zeus is the one that freed them, they make for him the best weapon. And what does he get?
Lightning bolts.
Close. He got a bucket. It's almost the same thing. Of lightning bolts. And so, according to mythology, you can't really make a lightning bolt. What you can make is a bucket, and you stick your hand into it, and it's full of electricity, and then you fling it like scary boogers. And you're just like, and it flings electricity at people. Speaking of things you need things fling at them, yes?
Does that mean you'll sit back down?
At the end of class, absolutely. You stand during class, and at the end of class, you get to sit down. Silly children who make choices. It's all right. Luckily, through lots of research, I was actually able to find a picture of his weapon at the time. And this is what they believe it looked like. And so he could then stick his hand into it, and the electricity would come out, and then he could fling it. I know. I could not believe I found it. And that's why you see up there the fact of him holding electricity, holding electricity, holding electricity. Mr. Brovicast, where's the bucket? Normally, he keeps it under his dress because it makes him feel pretty. Next up, the next brother to get a weapon is Poseidon. And what weapon is he going to get? There you go. The thing that allows you to poke 3 people at one time. And so he gets the trident, allowed him to cook multiple hot dogs, allowed him to cook multiple marshmallows, also allowed him to apparently control water and hit people with like water balloons and stuff like that. Little known fact, gods hate water balloons. And that's how Poseidon was able to sort of help them out. He'd fill them up like pure splash and like, I'm a witch. And they'd sit there and melt. It was great. And so Poseidon gets a weapon. And then finally we have brother number 3.
Hades.
Nicely done. And Hades goes, whoa! Before you go making these weapony things, there's something about me you should know. I don't like being all up in your face and attacky. I'm not good on that stabby thing because it involves maybe having to talk to somebody. And the Cyclops go, we got you covered. And they come up with a special weapon for him. For Hades,
invisible helmet.
there you go. The invisibility helmet, or the helmet of darkness, depending on how you look at it. And so it allowed him to put it on. He would then, much like Harry Potter, disappear. And Hades' favorite thing during this big war was table-topping other gods. He would put on the helmet, turn invisible, crawl around on all 4s in the middle of the war, and then wait for other gods to get pushed over backwards. And when they hit the ground, he'd get up, run away giggling. And they're like, who was that? And he's like, giggle, giggle, giggle. And he'd go running into the field like, oh, that Hades. If you look over here above where Marma is, if you look carefully in the picture, you will not be able to see it because it's invisible. But I got you to look. Luckily, though, I was able to track down a picture of it. So even though it's not in that one, you can at least see what it looks like up here. And that is a picture of the invisibility helmet. To give you some idea of what it looks like. It's not easy to find. Sometimes you have to squint. No. So now we have the fact that during this war, things now start to finally take a change. Zeus is able to throw the lightning bolts, which do enough damage to hurt the other gods. Poseidon is able to throw water balloons at them, and they run around screaming. Hades keeps table-topping them, and like, oh, my buttocks hurts, I keep falling on the ground. And you have the big, ugly monsters. And the big, ugly monsters went around on Earth, and comparison-wise, the Titans were like the size of their toes. So the big, ugly monsters, while everyone was fighting, would just walk around going, squish, 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 and stepping on the gods, they become all flat. And after they lift up their foot, like, and they form back, they're like, oh, that really hurt. Because it would not kill them, but it would put them into all kinds of pain. Plus, sometimes the big ugly monsters would just go pick up a mountain and just go, smash, 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 mountain. And the time's like, twitchy, twitchy, twitchy. So Zeus goes, hey, if you don't like getting stomped on and smashed, here's what I would recommend. Join my side, and we're a smash-free zone. So come over and help me out, and then everything will be good. And more of the Titans do. They end up switching from Kronos' side to Zeus' side, until eventually there's only a small handful of gods left, which he eventually captures, and Zeus ends up winning this war. At the end of the war, all the Cyclops leave, and they go hide inside of a mountain. And they disappear to go do their thing. What do the big ugly monsters have to agree to?
Edge of the world behind the mountain stuff.
And they take off, go to the edge of the world, sit down there, and then Zeus never has to see them again. Now, all the gods that fought against Zeus, except for 2 of them, get the same punishment. Because Zeus decides he's going to get rid of all of these gods. He's like, but I can't have you running around in places. Luckily, I have a newfound dungeon that I can throw all of you into. So where's he going to throw them?
Tartarus.
And that's what he does. All of these gods that fought against him, he throws into the pit of Tartarus, except for 2. One of them is Cronus himself. Cronus manages to escape. Depending on the stories, some say he goes and lives in Italy. Some say that he just puts on a disguise and roams through the countryside. But however you look at it, Cronus manages to escape being punished by Zeus. The other one who gets punished by Zeus is Atlas. During this big war, it was believed the sky was a bowl, like a cereal bowl, and it was sitting on top of one of these mountains. But when the Hecatonocheires, the big ugly monsters, were smashing each other, that mountain also got smashed and started to make the sky slip and fall. And they could see it on top of this mountain sliding to the side. Yeegi, yeegi, yeegi. And Zeus was afraid he was going to go yeegi smash on everybody. So he tells Atlas, your punishment is you're going to have to go up to the top of this mountain, lift the sky up, and hold it on your shoulders to prevent it from falling down and crushing everybody. Small problem with that. Let's say I decide to punish Cuss. And I'm like, Cuss, your detention is, I'm going to lay on the ground. I need you to hold this 25-pound weight above my head. That's going to be your punishment for the next half hour. Thank you. What's Cuss going to do?
Drop it.
Boom! No more teacher. And then you can just leave. And Zeus realizes that same thing. He's like, well, all of a sudden Alice is like, oh no, it's heavy. Phew! Problem solved. So Zeus has a backup plan. He goes, all right, Atlas, here's what I'm going to do as part of our agreement. You have 9 daughters called the Hesperides. And these 9 daughters fought against me the entire time. They are currently in the pit of Tartarus. I am going to release all 9 of them and not punish them at all. Not only am I going to release them, I will let them come to the mountain where you are, and they can live on this mountain and come up and see you and talk to you whenever they want. And Atlas goes, that's very kind of you. And Zeus goes, I know. And in return, you are going to hold the sky up. Because now if Atlas drops the sky, what happens?
Crushing his...
Kills his own children. So although it looks like Zeus is being nice, really he's just making sure Atlas can't drop things. And so here's our picture of Atlas. Now the problem is, in almost all the pictures of Atlas, he's not holding the sky. He's holding the world. Well, a couple things on why this doesn't work out. One, he wasn't holding the world, but it's hard to draw a picture of someone holding the sky, because the sky's invisible. You would just look awkward and creepy. It's like, or So because of that, they put him holding the world. Our other issue is, if he was holding the world, that would not be accurate. Because
They believe the world's flat.
nicely done. Because they believed the world was flat. So all of those pictures you see of Atlas holding the ball on his back, those are not from Greek mythological times. Those are from years and years later when we discovered the world was round. Because they believed the world was flat, so it would not have worked out during that time period. So now, we have him lifting the sky up onto his back. At this point, Zeus is now the new king of all the gods. He takes over, goes up to Mount Olympus, kicks up his feet, and goes, now it is time to fill in these thrones. How many thrones does he have to fill in? 12. Before he does that, he and his brothers decide to split the world into 3 kingdoms. And each brother is going to take part of the world that they are then going to control. What about the sisters? They get to be related to the people controlling the world because the gods are sexist. Zeus goes first. And for Zeus, what is he going to take for his kingdom? Close. He takes the land and everything above it. He's like, do you see the ground? Like, yeah. He's like, I want that. Like, okay. He goes, and everything that goes up. So he takes the land and everything on up is his. The other 2 brothers go, all right, that's fine with us. We didn't want that area anyway. Poseidon takes for himself everything in the squishy bits. He's like, I become god of the squishies. And he goes out there with his little fork pokey stick and takes over the oceans. And technically he was only the god of the oceans because there's these little gods who then were the gods of like lakes and ponds. Mostly he doesn't care. He was like, I want the ocean. He was like, I don't care about lakes and ponds. He's like, you can give those to other people. And then Hades, the last one, is happy with what he gets. Because he takes everything. It was named after me. It was destiny. He named it Hades after he got it. But he takes everything under the ground. But he's happy about that. Why is he happy about it? There's no one down there to talk to. And he's like, I get the down. Wait, there's no one down there at all? Ever? Score! And Zeus is like, well, except for the people in Tartarus. And he's like, do I have to talk to him? And Zeus goes, I prefer you didn't. He's like, score again! He's like, it's all winning. So looking at it, here's your 3 kingdoms. Zeus is everything in that uppy bits. Poseidon is all the squishy bits. And then Hades gets everything underground. Hades is also known as the richest of all the gods and was thought to have the most money of all the gods. Why?
Because he took dead people's money.
No.
Gems.
That's where all the gems and gold is. So they thought all gems and gold came from Hades. So he was thought to be the richest of all of them. Now, Zeus decides it is time to start filling in Mount Olympus, which brings us to our thing in the notebook. So here's the notebooky thing. Now, it's easy. I'm giving you all the answers. Plus, you get 5 B points once we complete it. Because you're going to memorize it and say it in front of class.
No.
Much like we did with short stories, for the character setting, plot, point of view. And then with poetry, for the simile, like or as you shall see. And in Greek mythology, it's the same thing. You're going to see the 12 gods, and we're going to memorize who they are. So what you're going to do for this is you have 3 up and downy columns. One says God, one is like the hand motions, and then what they're the god of. And you're going to have, for how many acrosses, how many gods are on Mount Olympus? 12. So how many acrosses? That was a much scarier answer than I thought it'd be. 12. I did not think it was going to be a challenge. That screen behind me is getting ready to disappear. But there's not a whole lot on there you need. How many up and down columns are there?
3.
How many acrossy columns?
12.
How many of you have failed math I Learn already? All of us! 12 is such a big number. That's like 4 more than I have fingers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What?
It says 1 through 12 up there. Well, I didn't read that. I'm not that smart.
You can't expect kids to pay attention. What is this?
No one pays attention in this class.
I just want to cry. I don't care. So there it says again, God, action, what you say. The first god to get a throne on Mount Olympus is going to be himself. Zeus is like, well, I get first dibsies. Let me figure out which spot I want. So Zeus takes the first one. For what we say, well, 1, which side of your notebook are you doing this on? Which is the left or right?
Left.
Just making sure.
Oh my God.
Kids in the process of doing it on the wrong side. I was just trying to help them out because my heart's in the right place. You're welcome. For Zeus, compared to the other gods, what is his job?
Ruler, sky thingy.
I'm going to call him king of all the gods. So here he goes. Zeus, king of all gods. I mean, doing it in that voice is optional. I just highly recommend it. For the hand sign that goes along with him, almost every picture we see of him, he's doing the same thing because it's pretty much what he does all the time.
Throwing lightning.
There you go. Smiting people. So what you're going to be doing is holding your lightning bolt in one hand, pointing to who you feel needs most smited, and you go, Zeus, king of all the gods. Now just be careful. with your smiting hand, you don't then complete the smitation, because then you're going to turn someone into a unicorn if your pencil is still there. And you're like, you've been smitated. You go, now you've got a third eye. And then go from there. Like, I would never smite a kid who's lost points again for trying to sit down during class, because that would be ridiculous. No one would ever make that kind of choice.
Is that me?
I don't use names. That seems so mean.
You just told him?
I'm just asking him because I don't know if you can have your knee on the chair because that's not sitting down. Because sitting down, your knees are bent, and like my knees are just on the chair. You're spiral.
You can rant later. It's a Monday. The next one to get a throne after Zeus is
Poseidon.
You would think so, but someone threw a fit as soon as like Poseidon, just like
Hera.
Nicely done. Hera then gets the next throne. He tries to give it to Poseidon, but someone ain't having none of that. Now, for her, yes, she is the god of marriage. She is the god of childbirth. But for most of our stories, that's not the role that she's going to play. Usually she plays a different role, the more important of her roles, which is
Killing children.
that'd be the king, the god of the babies. It's more being Mrs. Zeus. For her, it's more being queen of all the gods. For the most part, that's how we're going to refer to her, queen of all the gods. For the hand sign, since we're not going to worry about the baby bits or the marriage bits, one, I'm creeped out thinking about what hand sign you would use. But two, for the whole queen thing, what we're going to do is take one hand and make half a circle.
My gosh.
Half a circle. Other hand, half a circle. Put your two half a circles together, turn it over, and then you place it upon your head, and it makes a crown. Now, you'll go Hera, queen of all the gods. Now with this, if you feel like being pretty, you can also make your crown sparkly, and you can have a sparkly crown. But realize there's a difference between being queen of the gods and queen of the mooses. And so if you do, you got to make sure. Now also, there's a difference between being a sparkly queen and a sparkly moose. Because Sparkle Moose was my rap name in college. Hair, hold hands above head like a crown. Yes, sir. Good question.
I think I have a good idea for how to remember it. It goes on your hair.
Nicely done. Not frightening at all. After... Awful.
All of us. Can I just put make crap?
It's up to you as long as you know how to do it. It's just to help you. Our next one then to get a throne is... This is where Poseidon Gesundheit gets to step in. Now that Mrs. Him has gotten her spot, now it goes back to brothers because once again sexism rules. And so that's where Poseidon steps in. Not by my choice, going off of Greek mythology. And what is Poseidon the god of?
Water and stuff.
I think literally that was god of water and stuff is how all the other gods refer to him. He's like, what's the stuff? And they're like, water balloons. He's like, nailed it. With our hand sign to go with him, I have a couple ideas, but kids have come up with other ones. My idea is if I took you into the middle of his kingdom and then dropped you, there's a couple different things you would do. Some of you would then swim to safety. Others of you who can't swim might doggy paddle because you're not as strong of a swimmer. Others of you would probably just sink straight to the bottom. Tomorrow we'll finish out Poseidon and get to our other gods who have poor choices. Don't forget to get your communication devices, and we'll see you tomorrow.